This is Lola Lee T. I make a lot of videos about 90 Day Fiancé, so support me by purchasing a super thanks and also hit that like and subscribe button. Hey everybody, I'm back with a recap and review of 90 Day Fiancé UK Season 1, Episode 6 for me, and maybe Episode 8 for you. I don't know, it's showing as Episode 6 for me. This episode is called Just Please Don't Embarrass Me. I downloaded the Discovery app just so that I could do the recaps for you guys. Anyway, let's get into the recap. Let's talk about Richard and Kathleen. Richard and Kathleen stayed a few nights at a hotel, and now they're going to be going to Kathleen's parents' home. She is a bit nervous because she doesn't know how Richard is going to act. Kathleen lays down the law and gives Richard the rules. Richard has to minimize his voice when he gets drunk because he can be very loud. He needs to adjust because he's staying at her parents' house with her. Most important thing is Kathleen does not want Richard to embarrass her. So good luck with that, Kathleen. Richard realizes that if he messes this up, that her parents will not allow her to come to the UK. Kathleen's dad thinks that Richard is a sex tourist. So Richard has some work to do. He has to prove to Kathleen's dad that he is not. So they arrive at Kathleen's neighborhood and Richard experiences culture shock right away. Where she lives is not what he is used to. So Richard meets Kathleen's family again, her mom and her dad. It's pretty obvious that Kathleen's dad doesn't like him. Kathleen's dad is not impressed by Richard, and he literally gives him the silent treatment. The bed that Richard ordered does not fit Kathleen's room. The plan was to put the two beds side by side, but now they're going to have to put them on top of each other like bunk beds. So here we have a conflict with Richard. He is a buffoon. Yes, he is. He is extra, extra, extra. He says all the wrong things, but yet he has a kind heart by buying the beds for Kathleen and her family. That was very kind and very generous of him. Richard and Kathleen go to meet Kathleen's friend Jen. Jen's opinion of Richard is very important to Kathleen. I was actually expecting Richard to say that he didn't care what Jen thought about him, but to my surprise, he does care. Richard tells Jen that he hopes to bring Kathleen to the UK and set her to work. He plans to move her into his house, and Kathleen confirms she's going to clean the house, do the laundry, do the cooking, pick up his socks, do all that stuff. So all of that is what Richard considers his wife material. For Richard, the word wife stands for washing, ironing, effing, etc. Richard said he will be flexible with the cleaning. If she's too tired to clean, she can do it the next day, but ultimately it's Kathleen's responsibility. Damn, this is why people cannot stand Richard. Even though Kathleen has agreed to these terms, it really sounds like he's bringing a slave over to the UK and not a wife. And it sounds like it's a lot because she's going to be having two full-time jobs. Her job as a nurse and her job taking care of Richard. And Richard's not a baby. He doesn't need to be taken care of. He can take care of himself. Why can't he do some of the cooking, the cleaning, the washing, and the ironing? And who the hell irons anymore, Richard? And Richard did say that that is what he loves about Kathleen, because women in the UK wouldn't do all of this for him. And that could be said about American women, Canadian women, because I will not be doing Any of that for no man. It should be a 50-50 shared responsibility. So basically, a British woman doesn't want to be your slave, Richard. Is that what you're saying? Okay, got it. Richard keeps saying that Kathleen chooses to do these things. So what happens when she comes to the UK and decides, hey, I choose not to do the cooking, cleaning, ironing, the picking up your socks? Then what? Are you just going to hire a maid then? So then he says he's not sexist, but there are jobs that girls like to do and jobs that boys like to do, and there's nothing he can do about that, and to hate him if you want. So why does he think this? Why does he think that there are jobs that girls like to do and jobs that boys like to do? I mean, Richard, it is 2022. And Richard, you are sexist. But Kathleen is already talking about compromise and shared responsibilities. So I don't think she has any intentions of doing all this cooking, cleaning, and ironing. No way. And good for her. And Kathleen is saying that she can foresee problems in their relationship, living with Richard in the UK. So in another scene, Richard tries some exotic food, chicken feet, intestines, and pork blood. If he tries the food, this will impress her family and show that he's willing to live the way that she's living. This will also show that he accepts her culture. And he has never tried anything like that before. And he does actually try it, but her dad is still not impressed. He even had gifts for her family, gold chains with a cross for Mama and Papa. This was the first time that I actually heard her father speak. He said thank you and he seemed really impressed. But then Richard had to ruin it by giving Kathleen some short shorts in front of her parents. And then he tells her to go put them on. This man needs to learn to read the room. So what are your thoughts about Richard and Kathleen? So let's talk about Emma and Hussein. Emma said that when she first started talking to him, she said she didn't think he'd be attracted to her because she was plain looking and he was so attractive. Emma is absolutely head over heels in love with Hussein and she's planning to marry him. He still hasn't gotten his paperwork back and he has to get his paperwork translated to Turkish in order to get married in Turkey. So Emma, her daughter, and two of her friends go wedding dress shopping. Her daughter is still in shock that her mom is getting married to this guy who she has only met once. The daughter is very, very skeptical. And I gotta say, I agree with Emma's daughter. This is not gonna end well. I really, really like Emma. I think she's a really nice lady, but I really feel like Hussein is using her. And it just seems absolutely crazy to me to want to marry someone you've only met once and there hasn't been any intimacy or chemistry. So here are some of the wedding dress looks. So the second dress, everybody is saying that Hussein would really like the dress because she's all covered up. And then Emma says, well, she's English, he's Muslim, she's gonna do what she wants. And well, that's the problem because if he has strong views about, for example, the wedding dress, Emma may end up having to cover up because she also has to respect his culture. They both have to respect each other's culture. So Kenzie seeing her mom in her wedding dress makes her realize that she's actually getting married. But it's really sad to me that Kenzie has not actually met the man that her mom is going to marry and that she's going to meet him for the first time on their wedding day. That is just absolutely insane. I really feel like they should have met before the wedding. Anyway, Emma has her bridal shower. The theme is called Chicks and Dicks. This segment really shows Emma's personality, and she just seems like she would be a really good friend to anyone. And I can't even really show you the clips from the bridal shower due to YouTube. But I wonder how Hussein is going to deal with this side of Emma's personality due to his culture and religion. Emma talks to her friends about not having sex with Hussein the first time she met him in person. Some people think it's weird, but Emma said she feels that he had his reasons. Well, I wonder what his reasons were, because if he didn't, because of his religion, I'm sure there are ways around it. If he really wanted to be intimate with Emma, and I worry that he's not attracted to her sexually. Also, she said she was afraid to bring it up with him, but I think that the reason why she doesn't want to bring it up with him is because she doesn't want him to tell her the real reason. Emma and Hussein's wedding is just around the corner, and Hussein still has not gotten his paperwork, and we learn that they have stopped talking. They got into a big fight over text messaging. Hussein said he doesn't love her. He doesn't want to marry her. He doesn't even like her. He said that she's old, that she's fat. I mean, who is surprised by this? And she said that he got a small peen. So they are not even talking right now. Emma tells all of this to her friend, and she has decided to give him space. And I really think that what brought this on was, I think Emma was probably nagging him about getting his paperwork. And he just, he just said, he's had enough of her. And I think that's what caused the argument. So Emma tells all of this to her friend. And well, she's decided to give Hussein some space. And Emma said, and this is insane. Okay, this is insane, okay? Emma tells us that after everything that he said to her, if he doesn't start talking to her within the next few days, there will be no wedding. Oh my God. Emma is absolutely delusional. He told her what he thinks of her, and she still wants to marry him. The man said that he doesn't love you. He said he doesn't want to marry you. He said he doesn't even like you. He said you were old and fat and you still want to marry him? And guys, she actually does marry this guy. What are your thoughts about Emma and Hussein? Let's talk about Shaun and Christine. Christine has taken charge. She has notes up all over the place, all over the house, all over that flat. One of the notes says, if you want boom boom, keep clean. So if Shaun wants the romance, he's going to have to be tidy. Also, she's making Shaun give her a deadline as to when he's going to clean up their son's bedroom. Damn, Shaun, why didn't he clean up before Christine and Christian got there? He had so many years to do it. And that room is a hoarder's paradise. So they go to meet Shaun's best friend, Jimmy. Jimmy has concerns about their relationship. Jimmy told Christine that he's happy to see that Shaun has got a haircut and a shave. He also tells her that Shaun has been struggling at work. So then Shaun left the table because he had to take a call about their son Christian, and then Jimmy went in on Christine. He asked her the important questions. He asked her the hard questions. Jimmy said, I just want to double check that you love Shaun and that this is not for the money. Christine said, of course, she loves Shaun and that it's not just for the money and that she doesn't care what people think. But she told the producer that it's not Jimmy's business if Shaun sends her money. Then Jimmy asked her if her intentions to stay in the UK was for Shaun and not just to get in the country. She said that she didn't care what other people thought about that, and she knows what her true intentions are and that they're pure. And here is the doozy, what we are all thinking, what we all want to know. Is he the baby daddy? Do we gotta call Maury? Do we gotta call Maury? Kathleen got pissed at the question She said, yes, definitely Shaun was the father and that she was willing to do a DNA test. So, I mean, if she's willing to do a DNA test, that tells me that Shaun is the father of this child. So Shaun walked in on the interrogation and he defended Kathleen. I actually liked seeing that. Now, here's my take on the interrogation. Jimmy was out of line to ask those questions, but I'm nosy and I'm actually really happy that he did ask those questions because that's what we want to know as the viewers and as bloggers. And I do hope that Discovery will allow Jimmy to host the 90-Day Fiance UK tell-all because we all want someone that's going to ask the hard questions. I did say in my previous video that my attitude towards Christine has changed. I really do think that she loves Shaun. I really feel that she lifts him up and adds to his life. She has helped him so much already just by being there. Like Jimmy said, he's taking care of his hygiene. He's taking care of himself. He got the shave and the haircut. And now he's even cleaning up his house. And this is all because of Christine. Hopefully, he will have the courage to tell her everything and stop lying to her. So I'm definitely Team Christine. She is the best thing that's ever happened to Shaun. With all his money problems, Shaun decides he's going to take Christine to an expensive restaurant to cheer her up after the blow up with Jimmy. Poor Christine has no idea that Shaun cannot even afford the meal. Now, why would Shaun order a steak dinner with that kind of financial problems that he has? I really think that Shaun needs to come clean to Christine and let her take over the finances. But Shaun tells the producer that the intimate dinner was not the right time to come clean and that he may tell her tomorrow or the next day. It was revealed that the plan is for Shaun to help Christine pay off her credit card bills. Then it will be her turn to spoil him. Poor Christine, she's going to be so shocked and devastated. But from what I've seen on social media, these two are still together. So after all this, she still stayed with Shaun. So if she was just with him for the money, she would have left him. That is why I'm Team Christine. Their love is real. I really believe that. What are your thoughts about Christine and Shaun? Let's talk about Callum and Marvin. We finally get to meet Callum. It's about damn time. Callum is 28 years old and he is from Perth, Scotland. He loves going to the gay scene in Glasgow. He is a gay man. He loves the freedom he has over in the UK. He doesn't have to hide himself. There's no shame. He can live authentically as himself. Callum lives with his mom currently. I actually love this kitchen. What a beautiful kitchen. Oh my God. This is like my dream kitchen. I really love Callum's mom. They seem to have a great relationship. Callum met Marvin on an international dating app. This is Marvin. Of course, Callum was immediately attracted to him. They have been talking for about a year now. They haven't met in person yet, but Callum worries a bit that Marvin may not be the same person that he has been talking to. Callum's mom feels that they are moving too fast. This is what Callum thinks about that. Looks like Callum is going to do what he wants, regardless of what his mom thinks. And Callum, if you're watching this, listen to your mom. Nothing wrong with slowing things down. So Callum is at his friend's house having a pajama party and he tells them about Marvin. He told his friends that the only problem is that he's from the Seychelles. They are concerned that Marvin is a catfish. And Callum says he knows he definitely is not a catfish because they have video called. Apparently living in the Seychelles as a gay person is very difficult. It's only become legal to be gay since 2016. Because of the culture, Marvin doesn't tell people he's gay, but if people ask him, he will. But there is nothing there for him where he lives, no gay scene, nothing. All of Marvin's previous boyfriends have been European, and his friends worry that he is after that UK status. But it could just be that he couldn't meet anyone from where he's from because everybody is so closeted. I also agree with Callum that Marvin may be just attracted to European men. Maybe that's just his type. And his friends are very skeptical of the relationship. They don't want him to get hurt. But Callum's friends have casted some doubt in his mind. Is Marvin there for the visa status, or is he there for freedom? Here's my thoughts. I have been stalking Callum and Marvin's social media, so I think that their relationship is real. I don't think Marvin is in it for the UK visa status. I think it's real love. But you know what? There's nothing wrong with taking things slow. I agree with Callum's mama on that. But I have so many other questions. How does Marvin's family feel about Callum? Are they supportive of the relationship? And why is Callum living with his mom? How is that going to work when Marvin moves to Scotland? Will they be living with his mom? So Callum meets up with his best friend Becky, and Becky is fiercely protective of Callum. Callum tells Becky that Marvin's coming over to visit. Becky is worried that Marvin is going to be fake, and Callum feels that if Marvin was fake, he wouldn't be able to keep it up for as long as he has. Becky is worried that Marvin is going to be fake, and Callum feels that if Marvin was fake, he wouldn't be able to keep it up for as long as he has been. So Becky is very skeptical because they've been dating online, but they haven't actually met in person yet, and she thinks that is a recipe for disaster. Callum said that Marvin has talked about engagement, and they're already talking about marriage. I mean, wow, that's fast. But why the rush? Why does Marvin want to get married so quickly? And Marvin seems to be the one that wants the engagement because Callum never really thought about marriage. And maybe because marriage is not an option where Marvin is from, Marvin has convinced Callum how important marriage is. And possibly Callum has really taken marriage for granted because it is legal in the UK. Becky hopes that Marvin is not convincing Callum to do this. She hopes that this is something that Callum wants. But Callum seems very headstrong, and he's going to do what he wants to do, regardless of what his friends think or what his mama thinks. So we see that Callum had a video call with Marvin. He shares that sometimes Marvin will tell him that he looks like Beyonce when he has his hair all down and when it's all over the place. And Callum says that Marvin treats him like a princess. I really think that these two are great together. They seem so excited to be together. Callum tells his mom that Marvin is coming over the next day, and she is really excited for him. He tells his mom there is a chance that on the visit, Marvin will propose, but his mom is telling him not to rush into things. Listen to your mom, Callum. You know, it's a lot. And his mom is really amazing, and she's just taking everything so well. She actually finds out that he has been talking to Marvin for a year. Then she finds out they're boyfriend and boyfriend. And then she finds out he's from a different country. Then she finds out he's coming to visit. And then she finds out that there is a chance of a proposal. I mean, that is a lot. And of course, Callum's mom gives great advice. Get to know each other. Don't rush into things. I agree with that 100%. His mom is wondering, what is the rush? What is the agenda? Is it to get a visa? And strangely enough, Callum doesn't want to ask Marvin what the rush is. But you know what? What would be so wrong in asking what the rush is? Oh my gosh, I really hope that these two work out. But I really do think that they need to slow it down. What are your thoughts about Callum and Marvin? So that is the recap, guys. What are your thoughts on all the couples. Thank you so very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Message me on Instagram if you have any hot tea for me. I love you guys. Bye.